Hello students, now today we are going to discuss about the lecture number 3. In this lecture we are going to see about the relational database schema. You can see that what actually is the relational database schema. That means it is a set S of relational schemas that belong to the same database. Also, if we say about the set S, that means it is being formed by the combination of different types of relation. So in a short manner, in a simple manner, what we can say that S is the name of whole database schema, which is being formed by the different types of relation. So S is equal to the combination of the different types of relation, where R1, R2 are the individual relation schema within the database. Now, if I say about a common example that we have discussed up till now right from the beginning, then we are having the company database schema. In this company database schema, you can see it is being formed by the 6 different types of relation. That is employee, department location, project, works on, and the dependent. So these are the 6 different types of relation schema that forms or made the company database schema. So relation schema and database schema are the two different terms. Database schema is being made up of the relation schema, in short, which we also called as the relation. So database schema comprises of these different types of 6 relations. Now we are going to discuss the next important discussion, that is the entity integrity constraint. What happens in the entity integrity constraint? We have says about the 3 types of constraint. That is, the first one was the key that we have discussed in the previous lecture. Next one was the entity integrity, and the third one was the referential integrity that we are going to see. So the second one was the entity integrity constraint. What happened in the entity integrity constraint? The entity integrity first defines that we are having a primary key attribute pk of each relation R in the schema S cannot have null value in any tuple. That means if we are having the primary key in a relation that is being formed from the schema S, the value of primary key attribute cannot have null value for any tuples of the relation state. Why? This is because primary key values are used to identify the individual tuples, and if we are having the tuples for the attribute forming the primary key as null, that means we are having this condition being displayed, which is not a good option. Therefore, the pk has several attributes. Null is not allowed in any of these attributes. So whatever the attribute that are interested or that are forming the primary key should not have the value of their tuples as null. This is the condition for the entity integrity. So if we are having other attributes which are not forming the primary key, we will simply disallow the null value. That means they are not the members of the primary key. So whatever we are considering the attributes, and if their tuples are having the value as null, then this is not being permitted, and hence the constraint that is being framed is called as the entity integrity constraint. Next is the referential integrity constraint. We are having a constraint which says in this that this constraint is valid for the 2 relation. Previous 2 types of constraint, that is the key constraint and the entity integrity, was valid only on a single relation, whether it is attribute or anything else, but the relation is only one. Now when we say about the next type of constraint, that is referential integrity constraint, it is having the concept that says it involves on the 2 relation. It is used to specify relationship among the tuples in 2 relations. The one relation is called as the referencing relation and the other is called as the referenced relation. Now the tuples in the referencing relation R1 have attributes called foreign key attributes that reference the primary key attribute pk of the reference relation. So we are having the 2 relation, that is R1 and R2. R1 attributes are called as the foreign key attribute. R2 attributes are called as the primary key attribute. R1 is called as the referencing relation, while the R2 is called as the referenced relation. Now the tuples in R1 is set to reference a tuple T2 in R2 if, only if, the following condition is valid. That is, T1 of Fk is equal to T2 to Pk. This is the condition that says about the referential integrity constraint. That means whatever the referencing is going on, whatever the referencing relation is showing to the reference, its integrity must be maintained. And how it is maintained? That T1 of Fk is equal to T2 of Pk. So the referential integrity constraint can be displayed in a relational database schema as a directed arc from R1 Fk to R2. It is being denoted inside in a relational schema, database schema, on the basis of a line with the arrow. The line starts from the referencing relation, that is the R1, and goes to the reference relation, that is R2. So this is the simple condition or the description of the referential integrity constant. Now if I say about the statement in a formal manner, the value in the foreign key column or the foreign key Fk of the referencing relation R1 can be either a value of an existing primary key of the corresponding in the reference relation R2 or it may be null. नल का केस हम ज़्यादातर नहीं लेते हैं, क्योंकि नल अगर हो ले लिया तो फॉरेन की जो रिलेशन R1 में बना रहा था, जो एट्रीब्यूट्स फॉरेन की के लिए लिए थे, शुड नॉट बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट्स ओन प्राइमरी की. इसका मतलब अगर T1 हम T2 के बराबर लेते हैं, T1 ऑफ Fk इज इक्वल टू T2 ऑफ Pk, और वहाँ पे T1 जो है वो Pk के बराबर ही है, तो इसका मतलब वो अपने आप में एट्रीब्यूट प्राइमरी की बन जाएंगे, जो कि नहीं होना चाहिए. तो हमारे पास इसीलिए ये सिंपल एक थर्ड टाइप की कॉन्स्ट्रेंट होता है जो कि हमें यही सब बताता. अब अगर हम रिलेशनल डेटाबेस स्कीमा में और उसके कॉन्स्ट्रेंट्स के बारे में देखें तो हमारे पास क्या होगा. सबसे पहले एक स्कीमा होगा जो कि रो ऑफ एट्रीब्यूट के नेम से डिनोटेड होगा, नेम ऑफ रिलेशन उस एट्रीब्यूट के ऊपर होगा, प्राइमरी की अंडरलाइन होगी, फॉरेन की कॉन्स्ट्रेंट डिस्प्ले होगा एरो के फॉर्म में फॉरेन की से रेफरेंस टेबल के थ्रू. दैट मीन्स प्राइमरी की से रेफरेंस रिलेशन होगा और रेफरेंसिंग करने वाला फॉरेन की होगा. तो अगर आप सिंपल देखें अपने कंपनी डेटाबेस को जो हम अभी तक देखते हुए आ रहे थे, इसके अंदर ये पहली बात 6 रिलेशन है. हर रिलेशन के अंदर एक प्राइमरी की है. हमेशा रिलेशंस आपस में जुड़े हुए हैं. कैसे? एक रिलेशन का डी नंबर, दैट इज दिस एट्रीब्यूट डी नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉय is having the arrow going to the next relation department D number. That means it is acting as a referencing relation. It is acting as a referencing relation. This employee is acting as a referencing relation while this is acting as a R2 referenced relation. So the arrow moves here. This is the starting point and this is the ending point. This is acting as R1 and this is acting as the R2. So R1 से R2 तक जा रहे हैं, जिसमें R1 के एट्रीब्यूट फॉरेन की बन रहा है और R2 जिसके पास जा रहे हैं वो प्राइमरी की बना रहा है. तो इस कंडीशन को हम हमारे पास रेफरेंशियल इंटीग्रिटी कॉन्स्ट्रेंट. अब हमारे पास कुछ अलग अलग भी कई बार कॉन्स्ट्रेंट होते हैं, जिसमें कि आप देख सकते हैं कि अब हमारे पास कई बार कुछ अलग अलग कॉन्स्ट्रेंट्स भी होते हैं, आप देख सकते हैं. उन्हीं में से इन तीनों कॉन्स्ट्रेंट के अलावा एक सीमेंटिक इंटीग्रिटी कॉन्स्ट्रेंट कहलाता है, जो कि सिर्फ एप्लीकेशन सीमेंटिक के बेसिस पर डिफाइन किया जाता है. उसको मॉडल के अंदर, रिलेशनल टेबल के अंदर हम कभी भी इस्तेमाल नहीं करते हैं. जैसे कि मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ आवर्स पर एम्प्लॉय फॉर ऑल प्रोजेक्ट्स ही और शी वर्क्स ऑन इज 56 आवर्स. इसका मतलब आई एम गोइंग टू प्रिडिक्ट दैट वट एवर द नंबर ऑफ आवर्स दैट इज 56 is being denoted and obtained on the basis of number of maximum hours. That means the hours, the working hours is the application or the content or the context over which the integrity constant is being defined. So this is the semantic. That means we are working on the we are predicting the working hours. Working means application semantics के basis पर हमने हर employee में बारे में पता लगाया कि वो कितने प्रोजेक्ट पे 56 घंटे तक काम करता है. This type of constraint is called as the semantic integrity constraint. Secondly, constraint हमेशा ही लैंग्वेज पे यूज किए जाते हैं. ज़्यादातर हमारे पास जो लैंग्वेज होती है वो SQL होती है, जिसके थ्रू हम किसी भी constraint को easily specify कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि SQL के पास triggers होते हैं और कुछ assertions होते हैं जिसके थ्रू constraints को easily specify SQL के अंदर किया जा सकता है. All about the constraint. Okay, with this lecture ends. Thank you.